FTC. Flight team stand up. Why you lie? It's July. It ain't June. Hey, man. Legends of Winning made a so fresh, so clean thing video the other day talking about there's proof that Flight is no longer the worst basketball player ever. Let's check it out.
I took the time out to address a question
we improved a lot in June.
Everyone desired the answer to. A question that was on everyone's mind, but no one was willing to take the time out to come to the proper solution to. And that question is, how bad is FlightReacts at basketball? And to come to the proper conclusion, I had to watch all of Flight's games, chart all his miss and makes, calculate his field goal percentage and his win-loss record, just so we can understand that FlightReacts is really, really bad at basketball. However, this really wasn't a surprise to anyone except for Flight.
By June, this record's gonna be by June we're having at least 40 wins.
We wasn't even able to play 40 games because of COVID.
And from his reaction, thus birthed the concept that by June, Flight was going to be a completely different player. But before then, he had the preparation. He hired trainers, practiced, worked on his skills, and even competed with some of the most elite level players in the nation.
Yeah! Look at that move though. Yeah!
And then the day that everyone was anticipating.
Let's go.
June 1st. Not only did Flight impress many people with an amazing win against the Flight Mike.
Hey man, y'all so fresh with please sub. We're not even on stream, we getting subs, man.
I think a lot of people want to give him credit for. And here we are now in the month of July. And due to several requests, as well as my own interest being piqued, I decided to take the time out yet again to determine did the worst basketball player on YouTube improve in the month of June.
Let's go!
First, let's be positive and talk about Flight's dribbling. Pre-June, Flight had horrible handles. They were sloppy, unnecessary, and extremely ambitious.
Oh my gosh, what shot was that?
Didn't know how to handle the basketball. Honestly, I've seen amputees have more control with the basketball than Flight did before June. However, a lot of that changed. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like Flight became a dribble god like Kyrie Irving or Steph Curry, but what I will say is Flight was much more concise with his dribble moves. When he dribbled, it was with a sense of urgency.
Damn, make that layup, bro!
To get to certain spots or to the basket a bit quicker than he was able to do before.
Oh my gosh!
Remember, in earlier months, Flight used to literally dribble the basketball while being stationary between his legs, and even then, he still struggled to complete those chains of commands. However, now you can see Flight attacking the basket, getting to certain spots.
Yeah.
And one dribble move that he added to his arsenal, which was a behind the back move, I saw utilized quite a few times in the month of June that made me realize that it had to be something that he'd been practicing on. And it did get a lot of defenders off balance to get him some really good looks. The second thing I noticed was his gathering. Before June, Flight was terrible at gathering himself. It seemed as if he didn't understand the rhythm and timing when it came to gathering yourself for a layup or even a shot, and it was really hard to watch, especially when he would commit to these awkward running hooks or these really bad hop steps around the right box. But in June, I saw a lot of improvement with his ability to gather. The timing was there when he attacked the basket for layups. He was able to get himself centered and squared to the basket much more often, and he even added a couple of gathering techniques to his arsenal that made him get some really solid looks. So first is a spin move where he would attack the basket really hard going right or left and then spin back in the opposite direction and get a really good look. And then the second one was a step back, which really took me back for a surprise because that is such an advanced move that only a handful of players in the NBA can really commit to.
Such as FlightReacts.
Flight was able to perfect this technique in such a small amount of time really blew my mind.
I love that new step back move by Equip.
He had a lot of great looks throughout the month of June, but unfortunately, he just wasn't able to finish it, which kind of brings us to what Flight needs to continue to
Come on, man, hit the rim.
Problems even before June. So
I missed that layup.
Around the basket.
Oh my gosh.
I beg you, please attack the rim. You are 6'3", you are not 5'11". I don't understand why you don't utilize your height to your advantage.
We are starting now.
Once Flight starts to do this, he will easily convert more on these layups or easy tip backs that I start to see him to be a bit more aggressive with when he was attacking the rebound.
Damn, bro,
Which
make
also
that
brings me to
shit.
my next criticism, and that is, Flight, you shoot way too often, especially when you're under distress. You should just be able to just bring it back out, use your patented behind the back move, or just drive hard and spin like you've done numerous times. But instead, there was way too often where Flight just decided to settle for long jump shots. And then on the defensive end, Flight was a bit more active. However, you can clearly see a lot of that effort was misutilized when he just wasn't aware of what his opponent liked to do offensively, which honestly can just be summed up into basketball IQ. If Flight took the time out to read his opponent and understood what they like to do, honestly, he probably would have came out with 2 or 3 more wins in the month of June.
Facts.
But there has been a lot of improvements to his game. So how exactly did that translate in the win-loss column? In the month of June, Flight played 10 games. However, I'm not going to count 2 of them because one of them was against...
All right, bro. This is where you fucked up. This game counts. 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 I'm tired of y'all discrediting me from games. This game counts. I forgot to tell you that.
A 10-year-old, don't really think I have to explain why I'm not counting
Bro,
that.
it counts.
And the second one was against Devontae Fricker. And for people out there,
That's
who don't
fair.
know
That
what
doesn't
is,
count because, you know, D. Friga is a D3 player. He's an actual college hooper, so that doesn't count, definitely. You know what I'm saying? But a
Devontae
10-year-old
is a
does.
collegiate basketball player who just concluded his last year in college and is getting offers to play professionally, rather it be overseas or in the G League.
Exactly.
But nevertheless, we still have 8 games. Out of those 8 games, he went 3-5, which gives him a win percentage of 37.5%. An improvement that is not only noticeable in contrast to his career, but also a much needed improvement over his record that he had so far this year entering June. Because for people out there who don't know, Flight was winless. He was literally on a losing streak before he matched up against the Flight Mike and was able to snatch that win. Speaking of which, the 3 players that Flight was able to win against were Mopey, the Shea Frost, and the Flight Mike, with the game against Flight Mike easily being one of his best outings that he has had in quite some time, as he not only was able to hold him to 2 points, but also has some of the best shooting splits of his entire 1v1 career, as he shot 32% from the field and 22% from behind the arc. On the flip side, the 5 players that Flight lost to in the month of June were Baradas, Amari Frost, FaZe Rug, Jenna Bandy, and Cash Nasty, with FaZe Rug being easily the worst performance I've seen from Flight in quite some time.
Yeah.
As he was not only held to only 2 points, but also shot 0 for 10 from behind the arc, and also
0
missed
of
all of his
10.
other jump shots from within the 3-point line.
0 of 10.
It was horrendous
bro. Oh
and
my
really hard to watch.
gosh.
But another great example to why Flight needs to attack the basket more often. Now, with that out of the way, it brings us to Flight's June shot chart, which honestly is very similar to the shot chart I provided early on this year.
No, it's not.
As you can clearly see a lot of the flaws in Flight's game. He shoots way too many threes, and also you can still see the running hook shots and how often he attacks the basket going right at the box. However, I learned from last time that Flight doesn't know the difference between a shot chart and hot zones. So just for you,
There's a lot of improvement over here, yo. Like,
this is your shot chart, and these are your hot zones. Now, when it comes to hot...
okay, so these are my hot zones. Why don't I have a hot zone on the 3-point arc? Okay, I have one right there on the left side. So the hot side is the left side. Okay, bet. Inside the paint's a hot zone. The mid-range right by the wing of the 3 is a hot zone. I like shooting over there. Okay.
Hot zones, I think it gives us a much better depiction of where Flight is most active at, because on the shot chart, there's so many X's you can barely see the makes on the graph. But when it comes to Flight's hot zones, as you can clearly see, there's a few areas that we have to point out. First are the elbow jumpers, and this gives us a much better depiction on how lethal Flight's step back jumper was in the month of June, especially on the left elbow. Second, even though yes, for whatever reason, on the left corner 3, Flight was 5 for 15, which is very impressive, it clearly doesn't give us the best depiction of the type of 3-point shooter that Flight is, because as you can clearly see, around the rest of the 3-point line, Flight is horrendous. And then finally, yet again, more proof to why flights, you need to attack the basket more often.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense that Flight has nearly the same amount of top of the key 3-pointers than he has shots attempted under the basket. Which leads us to the question that everyone wants the answer to. Did Flight improve in the month of June?
Did we?
And it's pretty complicated. On one hand, statistically speaking, there isn't that much improvement at all. Sure.
Bro, I played more games pre-June though, so you can't go off of that. You're going off of 8 games versus like 26 or 30 games. Like, it's not even a fair you should at least took it like the latest 10 games before pre-June.
Flight averaged more points with a higher field goal percentage, which is actually pretty impressive. One of the best 8-game stretches of his entire 1v1 career as he finished.
There's a lot of improvement. There's a lot of improvement, and really the reason why the 3-pointers made isn't like as good as it was, or percentage and shit, is because I played more games pre-June.
0.5. However, the numbers are still very similar, and even when it comes to the win-loss record, he's already beaten Mopey. The Shea Frost is really bad, and the Flight Mike is on par with Annoying TV, with one of the worst individuals I've ever seen in my entire life pick up a basketball. So a lot of people may make the argument that Flight did not improve, but I completely disagree. When it came down to Flight and his improvement for the month of June, what I was looking for was the technical aspect of it. Was Flight a bit more comfortable and confident with some of his skills? And that is a definite yes. His handling became way more refined and mature.
Nice.
He attacked the basket with precision and confidence, and he added some moves in his arsenal that made his bag a little bit deeper that will inevitably translate to easy looks down the line. However, I do want to say this. I want to congratulate him on all of the success he had in the month of June. It was an amazing month. I definitely peaked the other numbers that he was putting up because he was having career highs on top of career highs in June. So shout out to
my man.
That. And also, shout out to everybody who supported the channel, especially this series that I will no longer be doing after this month. However, what I will be doing is keeping up with what Flight is able to produce like I did before with my game log. If you click the link in the description, it will bring you back to the original Google document. And I know a lot of people have been asking me, why was I not updating it? Well, it's because I knew for a fact someone was going to steal my idea. So I decided to keep a lot of that information to myself until I uploaded this video. But as of today, it is updated with everything that Flight has produced throughout his career. And all of the games that he played in the month of June are highlighted in yellow. So make sure you go check that out.
Hey man, as usual, man, coming up with us, next man on the road to 3 million.